What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are covering the Austrian Grand Prix, round number 9 of Season 3 of F1 2016 Career Mode. If you haven't seen the previous episode, I recommend you go check that out because some serious stuff went down. It all kind of stems from Canada. Well, not Canada, it stems from the Monaco Grand Prix and follows right through to where we are today in this Austrian Grand Prix. So, all in all, I'm just looking for a little bit of redemption after the previous round. I really need to get a roll on in terms of points, some momentum in terms of, impressing some other teams because that contract renewal may be coming up for the British Grand Prix. I thought it was going to be after Baku, but turns out it's not. A lot of people, it turns out, get a lot of offers after the British Grand Prix. You can see here in Friday practice, we actually got put on the back foot there because we put in a lap that was invalidated and too slow to count towards the tyre wear test, but it didn't harm us too much as we went on to get 50 resource points for that program anyway. So that's the end of practice. 22nd place it was, but I'm not concerned at where we're sitting on the timings there because we really haven't done any competitive laps at all.
Thanks for joining us on this Saturday afternoon where qualifying is about to start here in Austria. So sit back and enjoy the afternoon session.
Okay, we know it's going to be a struggle to get out of this session, but give it your best shot.
So here we are then for qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix. I'm feeling, quietly confident coming into this round, even though we're not bringing any upgrades to the table. Austria is a very short lap time, so if you can nail a lap, you're going to be very, very close to the pace more often than not. So here we are, qualifying 1, going straight out on a set of ultra soft tyres, not really wasting any time there. Our first run sees us end up in 19th place. Not the best, to be honest, but we're only a second and a half away from pole position and those two Red Bulls, which are probably 7-8 tenths faster than just about everyone else in this field. So if we can find just a couple more tenths, then we will be very, very close to the top 10, maybe even the top 5, really. But at the end of that second run there, I decided to go out again on the used set of tyres. Didn't give me any yields there, but you can see just in the timings there just how close it is. If I find 3 tenths, I'm inside the top 10 just about. So that's how close this field is, and that's just how this evolution of career mode is going now. That all the teams are really starting to converge on each other in terms of upgrades. The performance of every single car is really getting quite close, apart from Red Bull, like I said, who are miles ahead in terms of research and development. But end of the session, we put on a brand new set of ultra soft tyres. I thought it was worth the risk to go out again and try and get that grid position, get myself out of qualifying 1, and we just about managed to do that. An improvement by 4 tenths moved us up 7 places, and you can see that just how close it is in the mid pack there. Like, if it's mental. 11th place down to last is separated by 5 tenths. So you can just see there, just like a small mistake, and you are out of qualifying 1, as seen there by the 2 Mercedes cars, which should be easily making it through to qualifying 3, and should be one of the contenders to fight up against Red Bull and Ferrari. But they're going to be qualifying on the back row of the grid. That is how crazy Season 3 of Career Mode now is, with the way that the research and development has really affected things. So qualifying 2, we've got to move on now. We actually don't have any fresh tyres to utilise in this session, apart from the super soft tyres. So I had to play this very carefully. I had to first go out with my most used set of ultra soft tyres to get a banker in, and now on this lap you can see this is the set of ultra soft tyres that we used at the end of qualifying 1. So they've done about 1-2 laps at maximum, so they've lost about 5-10% of their durability. So they've lost their green edge, and they've lost about 2 or 3 tenths in terms of overall pace, but hopefully it's good enough to get us through to qualifying 3. At the moment it puts us in P12, and from here we have absolutely no sets of tyres to utilise apart from that set of super soft tyres, which I think I'm going to give it a go. It might harm us in the race, but I think getting that track position, getting ourselves inside the top 10 may be very, very helpful. But we'll have to wait and see. The Delta versus the ultra soft tyres was actually pretty good. The super softs were supposed to be a little bit faster than the banker tyres that I already had. So here we are, end of the session, trying to find even more time. There's always more time you can find the more running you do. So just trying to throw sets of tyres at it will hopefully give you that yield that you need. And you can see that we're 2/10 up on the harder compound at the end of this qualifying session. It's an improvement by 2.5 tenths, but is it enough to get us through to qualifying 3? Unfortunately, it's not. And we're only just shy, by the way, of making it through to qualifying 3 on a set of super soft tyres in the second slowest car. We missed out by half a tenth. You know, just a few hundredths. That's all that really separated us from making it through to qualifying 3 and getting a brand new set of ultra soft tyres to use. But unfortunately, that's not the way it's turned out. In the rivalry update, we've managed to draw level with Nico Hulkenberg there. And I'll definitely take that, considering he's like 4th in the standings, something like that. But yeah, that's qualifying over. We've got a fresh set of tyres to use in the race, so we'll see what happens.
Austria, traditional home of many great things. Apple strudel, Mozart, Niki Lauda. Oh, and of course, one of the finest high-speed racetracks on the planet.
So here we are then on the grid of the Austrian Grand Prix. You can see we're doing a 2-stop in this race, utilising every single compound that we have to offer, going onto the super softs and then finishing on the soft compound tyres. So here we go, ready for this race. There should be no interruptions in terms of weather. 5 red lights and away we go for this Austrian Grand Prix. The guys around me are starting on harder compound tyres, so that is quite interesting. Heading into turn 1, you can see Haryanto is up my inside, and we've collided at turn 1. Lost my front right end plate there.
We're seeing minor damage to the front wing. Be easy on the car till we get it repaired. We don't want to risk making this worse.
So just 20 seconds into this Austrian Grand Prix and we've already conceded damage. That's definitely going to put us on the back foot for the rest of this Grand Prix. I will bring up a replay a little later on, but first we're going to deal with this first lap. We do have just a slight bit of front wing damage. It's going to harm us by about 2, maybe 3 tenths a lap. But overall, if we can just find some positions early like we're doing now, we might be able to make a nice recovery job of this race. We'll have to wait and see. Lap 2 now, you can see we've got a nice exit off the final corner. Gives us great momentum heading into turn 1, up the inside of Massa, and we just managed to get in front of him there, squeeze him out a little bit, and that's us well inside the top 10 now. So here's the replay of the race start there. That was Kimi Räikkönen getting a bad start off the line there. You'll see us in the midfield getting passed up the inside by Rio Haryanto. Bear in mind, he's on the right-hand side. He's very squeezed for room, and he bounces up on the curb there. And I just think he's moved over into my line just a little bit too much. I was compromised because I couldn't, leave him any more space because I had the Toro Rosso on my outside as well. So it's a bit of a racing incident there, but we carry on to lap 3. This is Sebastian Vettel, who has got a right rear puncture. He actually stopped on the exit of the hairpin there. And there's yellow flags. I decided to stop as well briefly before, everyone came to a complete halt, and it got to a point where I just kept going because they were all stopped, and it's not really safe to be stopped in a massive traffic jam like that. So we got around the outside of Vettel and the other Ferrari and the Force India, and I think we're on the podium now. We'll have to wait and see until we can get another onboard shot there. But Vettel going very slowly. Massa collected him in the process, and now he's holding up a big group of cars towards the back end of the midfield. So Vettel is going to be limping back to this race. Maybe that's a little bit of karma after what he did to me in Baku in the previous episode. But here, you can just, that's like half the field there getting stuck behind Vettel. He was just trying to make his way into the pit lane. There's no doubt, yeah, there's the crash right there. I was just going to say it. I was waiting for a crash. There's no way that 10 cars going into one corner is going to amount to a clean bit of racing. But yeah, there you go. There was the crash. I think one of the Williams cars is pulling into the pits now as well for some, I'm guessing a new front wing change. But now we've got another team radio, lap 4.
We think there's a viable strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one?
So what does the engineer want me to do? He wants me to stop 3 laps earlier versus my previous strategy, and that would probably amount to a 3 stop. So I didn't want to switch to a different strategy at this stage. I just want to stay out as long as I can on my current set of ultra soft tyres, because I believe the tyre wear is very, very harsh around this racetrack. I've seen in previous seasons you can really get caught out of the back end of the race, especially if you stop early for an undercut, such as the tyre wear around this track. So I don't want to do that. I want to maximise each stint for as long as I can and really keep the tyre wear at a kind of consistent, really stable level for as long as I can in this race. And the fact that I was trying to stay out as long as I can, I was kind of waiting for a safety car, hoping to get that front wing change done under yellow flags, and unfortunately that hasn't happened. So at the moment we're going to leave the front wing damage how it is, and we are going to march on as best we can. We've lost the position to Sergio Perez and also Nico Hülkenberg, I believe. Not entirely sure about that, and maybe one of the Ferraris in the form of Kimi Räikkönen. But we carry on here, lap 8, we're going up the inside of Perez. I don't know if these guys have already stopped or not. I'm guessing they have because the Force India is a natural front runner in this season. Anyway, it is Hülkenberg right in front of us. Lewis Hamilton is out of this Grand Prix. We'll bring up a replay now and see what happened to him here. It's an engine failure. It really hasn't been a good day for Lewis Hamilton or for Mercedes. Both their cars qualifying on the back row of the grid, and to really compound things for Hamilton, he's DNF'd in this race. So absolutely nothing to show from this Austrian Grand Prix. Those guys need a change of direction. They need some upwards momentum, and they need it fast. But we carry on to lap 12. My super soft tyres are getting to the midway point of their tyre life. Now we're getting overtaken by cars who are got much fresher tyres in the form of Jenson Button. He's ranged onto the back of us. He managed to overtake Sergio Perez, and now he's going up my inside here. We leave him the space before we cut him off as we manage to out-traction him on the exit going through the middle sector. Jenson goes for a little look there, but he knows it's not an overtaking corner, this one. This very fast fifth gear left-hander, so he's got to tuck in for now and wait for that DRS on the start-finish straight. It's all got to come from that final corner. You've got to get a really nice exit there. Turn 1 is a very crucial corner as well, but Sergio Perez with that really good straight line speed manages to get up the inside of Jenson Button there, and that gives me a little bit of breathing space. Actually, not too much, because Perez was going up my inside into the final corner despite having a very compromised run through the final corner. We carry on to another lap later. This is Perez going up the inside into turn 1. Couldn't quite pull it up and get a nice exit, so we managed to do the over and under on him. No, there's a Ferrari, and also one of the Force Indias is out of this Grand Prix. We'll have a look. No, it's actually Jenson Button who has gone into the wall there. That's so unfortunate for Jenson. He was trying to find a way around Kimi Räikkönen here. He sees a gap, he goes for it, and then Räikkönen closes the door, and they're both out potentially. I know that Räikkönen's definitely out of this Grand Prix, but I think Jenson might have just got away with this. That's so close. Räikkönen has just moved over at the worst of times, because Jenson just went for that gap, and now because of that, both of their races have been ruined. Kimi Räikkönen is completely cream-crackered and out of service for the rest of the day. So here's another replay. This is everything at full speed. You can just see after the contact from the car behind, Kimi Räikkönen was just a passenger from that moment on. Nothing he could have done there to save that crash from happening. So we carry on now. We've got to live with the consequences of their crash, and we have a safety car. So this completely changes the game for us. We're going to be coming into the pits, changing the strategy, putting on a set of soft compound tyres, and also changing the front wing. So we're going to get a little bit of lap time out of this. We're going to get the slow tyre out of the way. We could potentially stretch it to the end of the race. It may kill off the tyres completely, but it may be worth it. If not, we'll switch to the ultra soft tyres and see how they perform for the back end of the race. There could be another safety car after this one. The AI do like their crashes around this Austrian Grand Prix, and here's old mate Vettel coming into the pits after getting that really weird right rear puncture. He's nowhere in this race. He's trying to find his rhythm. He's trying to find his groove again, and with that safety car, that might be his saving grace. He might come back through the field and be a potential threat towards us for the back end of this race. So now this is a couple laps later. I believe the safety car is coming in now, so that leaves Max Verstappen to carry on with this race. For some reason, Daniel Ricciardo is nowhere near the front there. Something happened to him, I can't exactly remember. He might have double stacked or something like that. Or no, I think he might have actually got involved with that Vettel puncture, you know, traffic jam kind of thing. That might have been where he lost his time. But we carry on to lap 18, trying to get around the outside of Bottas there, who is one lap down, and we've got a massive tank slapper on there. Just managed to save it as we try and chase down Sergio Perez. We've been battling him pretty much all race here, trying to find the supremacy. We do find the inside though, and take his position away from him. Lap 21 now, 15 laps to go in this race. A couple cars have made their stops, and there's a yellow flag on the penultimate corner there. That's a banana car, and a Force India. That's Felipe Massa, the only Williams car still on the lead lap. Gets tangled up with another car, so that's great to see. He actually got tangled up with Sebastian Vettel, if you remember back to the start of the race as well. So lots of cars getting involved with lots of accidents, and there's Harrianto, who I came together with at the first corner. So I don't think there's anyone on this grid who hasn't made contact with another car, unless it's Max Verstappen, who's been out front all day, just pretty much doing a Sebastian Vettel of the V8 era. But we carry on. Lap 24, we can see the tyre wear was really, really harsh on those soft compound tyres. We only did about 10-ish laps on those before the tyre wear really went out the window. So there was absolutely no way I could have made it to the end on that set of soft compound tyres. We had to put on the Ultra Softs, and thankfully enough, we have a brand new set to utilise for the back end of this race. So now it's all down to us, trying to chase down the leaders. This is Kevin Magnussen in 9th place. We are basically pushing him here on this back straight. I imagine he's on some used soft tyres, so we should be able to negotiate him fairly easily around the outside. That's P9. Next up is Valtteri Bottas once again, who is a lap down. So hopefully he can let us through here without holding us up too much. He gives us the outside line, but he really doesn't let us go completely. He's still on my inside and holding me up, and now he's got back in front of me again, and you can see I'm just losing so much time. I probably lost about a second here. You can see the wheel work that I'm doing there. I'm just so frustrated because I was so close to getting DRS on my teammate, but now I've just got to work hard for the next lap and a half to catch up to him once again. So we carry on, 4 laps to go with my teammate Grosjean and Sergio Perez battling away for a spot inside the top 10, and we're almost going to be 3 wide here on this back straight here, so it's down to us with the DRS to be late under brakes to take both of those positions, which we managed to do inside the top 5, and that's been a really nice recovery considering we had front wing damage and we had it all to do after that safety car came out. So now you can see we're on board with Sergio Perez there. With only a few laps to go really, he makes a very odd pit stop, and that's completely going to take him out of the running of finishing inside the top 5. It allows myself and Grosjean to battle away over 5th place in this Grand Prix, which I won't complain about. That Force India was going to be a real threat to us at the back end of the race. So it's just down to myself and my teammate to fight over some personal glory here. But unfortunately, Fernando Alonso, who pitted late as well for some super soft tyres, he's got amazing pace at the back end of this race. Like I said, the tyre wear around this track is so harsh to the fact where, you know, some drivers are doing 3, maybe 4 stops in this Grand Prix. It's absolutely mental. Daniel Ricciardo is actually right behind Alonso as well. So we've got some really quick cars ranging onto the back of us, and we've got to drive really, really well here to keep them behind and prevent them from stealing our 4th place away from us in this race. 2 corners left to go in this Austrian Grand Prix, and I think the battling that Ricciardo and Alonso are doing has just given me the edge and given me the momentum to hang on to P4 in this Austrian Grand Prix.
That was an excellent drive.
A great win then for the Force India team today. I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Force India have really come a long, long way in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn that top spot.
Well, that was a topsy-turvy race. Somehow Force India has come out on top to win the Austrian Grand Prix. It must have been the safety car that changed it all, because Ricciardo and Verstappen have done 4 stops in this race, and I'm guessing the likes of myself and Hulkenberg and pretty much everyone in front of me must have stopped under safety car. Got a massive advantage out of that. Ran longer on harder compound tyres rather, and have taken advantage that way. So I'm guessing when Sergio Perez made his stop in the back end of the race, like with just a few laps to go, I'm guessing that's when both the Red Bulls made their stops as well. That's got to be how they lost their track position, because that was really weird. They should have won by a long way, but it wasn't to be. We moved further forward in the Constructors. That's into 4th place now, and I believe we're in 6th place now in the driver's standings as well. So considering what we've got under ourselves in terms of equipment, I will definitely take that. So resource points, we're looking pretty good as well. Just over 1,000 points. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do in terms of engine or downforce upgrades at this current stage, but when we head into the next race, we should be able to upgrade one of those components, and that'll definitely help at the next race, the British Grand Prix. Should see a few tenths of improvement over the course of a lap, but I just wonder whether that's coming at the wrong time, because we're about to potentially jump ship if we get that mid-season contract offer, and the Haas car is about to get pretty quick. Getting very close to the stage where we're about to overtake Sauber, Williams, McLaren, and almost our former team, Manor Mercedes. But that's been this episode for today, guys. The Austrian Grand Prix. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 2016 videos. And until my next one, guys, I'll see you next time.